Welcome to you once again in the Department of English, RBNB College, Srirampur. And you are watching a video on interesting novel written by George Orwell named Animal Farm. We are studying the 6th chapter in this video. So here is the main incident takes place in this 6th chapter. Number 1 is the demands of Animal Farm. So in the 5th chapter we studied that Napoleon and all the other animals, they decided to build the windmill, but there are acute shortage of some tools. So these are described in this chapter. Then the next one is that is Napoleon's new policy and what is the aim of his new policy. The third one is, which is very important, that how the principles of animalism are violated in this chapter. The next one is, that is to pacify the animals. Squealer gives a very nice clarification about the violation of the principles of animalism. Next, the human character appears in this chapter, that is Mr. Whymper, who plays the role of a mediator between human being and the animals. And the last point is the gale of November, which the dream of animals in the animal farm is collapsed. So this is the framework of chapter number 6. Now we are going to study it one by one. In the last chapter we have studied that animal starts their own farm, and it means they are working for themselves. No human being is there. Their ruler, then there is no dispute of the leaders because Snowball is already vanished in the last chapter. So now the sovereign power is of Napoleon, or we can say Napoleon is the only leader, and due to his 9 fearful dogs, how he become a powerful leader. So what is his planning, and what are the plannings, the aims of the planning, and what are the demands of the animal farm? So first of all we have to study it. Now all the animals, they are working very honestly, and they are working 60 hours a week. Means in short, you see, in the reign of Mr. John, they are working very sincerely, they are working in the hard, but there is no change in the reign of Napoleon or in the kingdom of Napoleon. It means all the animals are working hard, they are working 60 hours per week, but still the animals are happy. Why they are happy? Because they think they are working for themselves and not for the human being. They are working for their next generation. So animals are happy in it. Now in the last chapter we studied that Sunday is called holiday. So on Sunday there is only meeting, the orders are issued to the animals through the pigs, there is no work, only there is a flag hosting. But now Napoleon changed his decision, and in August he announces that there will be work on Sunday afternoon, but the work is voluntary. Okay, the work is voluntary, but those who are absent for the work, their ration will be reduced to half. It means, you see, it is compulsory. Here the another important thing you notice, that though the animals are working very hard, very honestly, still the annual production is decreased, and Then, in the last chapter, we studied that Napoleon says we have to build a windmill, and it is my idea to build a windmill, and secretly Snowball steals the paper. So we have already studied it. Now the construction is going to be start in this chapter, but there are certain problems for them, and actually the cement is available in the animal farm. The sand is available in the animal farm, limestone is available in the animal farm, but the problem is how to break the heavy stones into pieces of suitable size, because they need stones, and there are very heavy stones, and it is impossible for the animals to break the stone into pieces of suitable size. So somebody has tackled the problem or tries to solve the problem, and he suggests that an animal cannot do the work because the tools are especially made for the human being, and no animal can stand on the hind legs, so it is impossible for us. So let us have to adopt the policy of pull and push and use the gravitation power of the earth. What is this gravitation power? That is, he decides that the heavy stone, with the help of heavy rope, they should pull it on certain height, and then all of the animals, they have to push the stone, and automatically the stone will break into pieces, which can be helpful to construct the animal farms. So here you see all the animals, they are working very honestly. They are working with their own, we can say, whatever the strength they have. Here again Boxer plays a very vital role. The half power of the remaining animals and half power is of Boxer, because his motto, we have already studied his motto, I have to work harder. He is already getting half an hour with the help of giving suggestion to the cockerel. We have studied it in chapter number 5. Here it means Boxer is doing extra work. Even I say he is working over his capacity. So that is why Clover, his companion, very worried about it, and she suggests her to avoid this extra work, to avoid this excess work. But Boxer says, Napoleon is always right, and I will work harder. These are the personal mottos of Boxer, and that is why he wants to see the windmill before his death. So he works very hard. Even he gives advice to the cockerel to wake up him from his sleep before 15 minutes. It means half an hour he already wake up early in compare with the other animals. Now he starts to wake up from his sleep before 45 minutes because he wants to do extra work for it. So we have studied that certain things are available in the animal farm, like limestone or sand, cement, etc. But there are the acute shortage of some tools, which are the problem is how to make them available from the market, because it is against the law of animalism. Because it was decided no animal should take part in the trade or contact the other human beings. Okay, so the problem arises. What were the problems in the animal farm? First of all, the paraffin oil, or we can say petrol. There were no nails, there were no string, there were no dog biscuits, there were no irons for the horse shoes. They want seeds for the we can say or fertilizers even also, or artificial manure or the fertilizers. So they are in great demand of the seeds and fertilizers, the different types of the tools which can help to build the windmill, and the machinery. The main problem is the machinery. How to bring the machinery? Because the machinery was not in the animal farm, and the animals cannot produce it or cannot make it. So here Napoleon changes his policy, and it is known as his new policies. Henceforth, he has decided on Sunday morning, while receiving the orders, animals gather together, and Napoleon announces his new policies, and he declares that animals from henceforth would engage in trade with a neighboring farm. It is against the principles of animalism. But he says, he clarifies, he gives the aim why he is participating in trade. Because he says that I am participating in the trade not for any commercial purpose, but only we are doing it to attain materials for windmill, and windmill is very, very essential for the animals in the animal farm, or we can say it is the dream of animal farm. And for the sake of completion of your dream, I am going to engage in trade. He also decides to sell a stack of hay and part of current year's wheat crop. Means two things he has to decided to sell into the market, that is a stack of hay and wheat crop, some part of the wheat crop. Even he says, if the amount is not sufficient, if we fail to bring the necessary things for the animal farm, then we have to sell the eggs to get foreign currency, so that with the help of this money we can buy we can say food or grains, whatever, or the fodder, whatever it may be. So he says that the hens should ready for the sacrifice of it. All animals must have to sacrifice for it, but the hens should be ready to sacrifice for the sake of windmill only. So here all the animals, they are astonished to this new policy, or they are surprised, because the new policy here, the violation of three things is going to be take place. And which are they? Contact with the man, then engage in the trade, and touch to money. And those three things are against animalism. But Napoleon clarifies it. Don't bother about it. And he says, I will not touch money. I will not make a trade with other human beings. Okay, or I will not meet any person outside the farm or the adjoining farm, or the we can say customers, or any kind of human being. He says that actually there is no need for the animals to participate or to engage in the trade. So I will do it, he says. And so through these restorations, we see here in this chapter that Napoleon violates the principles of animalism. First of all, he is going to deal with the human being. The second is he is going to engage in trade. The third is that he is going to touch money. Then certain things are violated which was against the animal farm, and which are they? That even the pigs makes their residence. Again the squealer clarifies it. I will clarify it again. Then the pigs started to take their meals in kitchen. Then drawing room becomes the recreation room for the pigs. Pigs start to sleep in bed with blankets even also. Pigs would get up half an hour late in a morning than the other animals. So Mr. Whimper will play the role of mediator, and we'll see how he regularly visits the animal farm. The day is fixed for it. Napoleon says Mr. Whimper will come here only on Monday. Here the 4 young pigs in the animal farm, they raise their voice against this violation of animalism, which is our third point. But they were suppressed. They became silent due to the fear of the 9 fearful dog. And Napoleon says that I would like to take this responsibility on my own shoulder. And here the sheep starts to bleat very violently. I say 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. And then Napoleon appeals all the animals for silence and says, long live animal farm. And the meeting ends with their national anthem, just like Beast of England, Beast of Ireland. And here Boxer says to other animals that Napoleon is always right, because Napoleon is my leader, and I am the follower of Napoleon. So Napoleon will not take the wrong decision. It is only for us, and we know that Boxer is respected in the animal farm. So no animal raise any kind of voice. Here Squealer comes ahead, and he gives clarification that why we are we are taking our meals in the kitchen, why we are sleeping on bed. Or he gives the in short we can say he clarifies that the principles of animalism are not violated. It was already decided. He says, after all, the pigs are the brain workers. They want rest. And so it was decided that they should get half an hour late in compare with the other animals. He says Napoleon is our leader, and everybody have to remember that leader should be respected. If you never respect our leaders, the other animals in the adjoining farms or human being will not respect Napoleon. So it is the duty of every animal in this farm to respect Napoleon. Then he also clarifies that actually no resolution was passed that no animal should sleep in bed, or no animal should live in houses, or no animal should engage in trade. Actually, such a kind of resolution was not passed, and there is no written record of it. It is only the imagination circulated by Snowball very cunningly. Okay, so we have to give respect to our leader Napoleon. he has a dignity in the society, and that is why we have to respect him. And he also clarifies that law is against to sleep in bed with sheets. Actually, the fourth commandment in the animal farm, which was written on the 5-barred gate, he says one who has doubt regarding it can go and read the commandment again. Here, Clover remembers that there is a commandment that no animal should sleep in bed. So she has doubt. She takes Muriel and goes to read the fourth commandment. Actually, she cannot read, but Muriel somehow he able to arrange the words and read it for Clover, and it was found that the fourth commandment was changed in a night. The original commandment was no animal should sleep in bed. No animal should sleep in bed. And the new commandment is written, no animal should sleep in bed without bed sheet. So without bed sheet word is added, and it is the violation of animalism. And Squiller says, after all, what is bed? The place where we sleep. Actually, where you take rest, where you sleep, it is also called bed. Okay, so he is a good orator and he tries to satisfy the animals. Then we are told about Mr. Whymper, and for the sake of trade, Mr. Whymper visits animal farm regularly every Monday. Actually, when he enters in the animal farm, all the animal tries to avoid the character or tries to avoid Mr. Whymper, because it was decided that they should not be come in contact with the human being. So they keep themselves away. And Squiller says no animal should not be afraid of it. Napoleon has taken this responsibility on his own shoulder and he will contact that person. Then animals are very happy that their leader Napoleon gives command to Mr. Whymper, and Mr. Whymper follows that order or command. They are very happy of it. And we also notice the physical description of Mr. Whymper is also given in this chapter, that he is a sly looking kind of person, or he is a cunning person. Actually, he is a very little man and he had side whiskers. So he is doing it purely on the basis of commission. That means he is not working for the welfare of the animals, but he is doing it on the basis of, we can say, commission. Unfortunately, the last point of this chapter is gale of November. So west wind in November, it stops the animals stop the work of building the windmill, because it becomes very hard to mix cement due to the wet atmosphere in this season. And on one night the gale becomes very violent, and the farm buildings rocks on their foundation. Even the tiles blow off the roof of the barn, we say. The flagstaff has also broke down, and the elm tree which was near that flagstaff, this elm tree just at the foot of the orchard has been plucked up like a radish, and unfortunately the windmill is also ruined it. And at morning, all the animals gather together near their windmill project, and they feel very sad that throughout the work they worked very hard and this windmill is collapsed. And then comes Napoleon, and Napoleon observes the structure of the windmill and he says, my friends, actually nature helps us, but our enemy, that is Mr. Snowball, came at night and he is the responsible for repairing of this windmill. Indirectly he says he blames Snowball to collapse the windmill project, and he immediately announces the death punishment to Snowball, and he declares animal hero second class and a bushel of apples to any animal who brings him means here Snowball, to justice, and a full bushel of apples will be given to anyone who captures Snowball alive. And then Napoleon wanders on the place and he snuffs very deeply and he says, now see, look at these footprints. These are the footprints of Snowball, and so he is the responsible for all this fearful incident. And he say, Snowball might have come from this direction, that is the direction of Foxwood Farm, and it is our duty to teach the lesson to this traitor. And he says, he appeals to all the animals that let us have to work in winter, in rain and shine, and this Snowball cannot undo our work so easily. He cannot force us to alter our plan to build the windmill. And later on he says, long live the windmill and long live the animal farm. And thus he blames Snowball. Actually it is the fault of Napoleon, but being the leader and having the power, he convinced the animals that he is not responsible. His enemy or the traitor, actually we know that Snowball is not a traitor. He usually wants the welfare of the animals. So here the chapter number 6 ends. So once again I thank you to spare the time and enjoy the 6th chapter of the novel. Thanks once again.